Hello everybody, this is Luby from Dimension and welcome to a series application development for startups, new features or other sorts of software ideas. Today's video is about the idea evaluation, so first step. So in the last video I told you how you can make the work easy to come from an idea to a software business or a software application. In the beginning it seems all to be a really long way, but if you slice it up in little slices, in little stages or steps, it's more comfortable to really get to your software business. So you have to do your idea evaluation after concept, after requirements and so on, and then you will really come fast to your application, to your app, whatever you want to bring on the market, and then start your business with this. So today we are focusing on the idea evaluation, so to check how our idea really works, and for this I want to introduce you to the process and the rules you have to deal with if you want to evaluate your idea. And also I will do everything on one example. For a long time I had an idea for a mock-up tool that I wanted to build, but never started it really. So I will use this example to go through all the steps, and you will see how we can get from our idea really to a good product at the end. And also I want to show you like a little bit of the difference between doing this process as an entrepreneur who really has a startup and a product manager in a company who wants to invent, who wants to set up a new application or a new feature. So let's start with the whole process. Before you can evaluate your idea, you need first to have some preparations done. So you cannot start to evaluate it right away. You have to start some preparations. And what are the preparations? We have first to focus what is the idea really, what is the core of my idea, and some work around it. Then we check what are the goals that I want to achieve with this idea to have a first benchmark. And after this I like to take a break, because for these two things, I think these two steps, you need only 5 to 15 minutes, not more. And all the steps after them are a little bit more time intensive, takes more effort from you. So you can here stop, decide, is this really exciting you? And if not, stop here, and you did not lose a lot of effort and or time. And if you go on, you really know why you're doing it, this, and you can better scope how much effort you will put in this. So what is the next step? The next step would be to check if the idea or some similar solution is already on the market. Then we will check when, if not, why perhaps it's not on the market. If yes, what is the difference? Then we come back to the to our solution. So we checked everything till step 4, and this gives us a good base to start to work on a solution. You will check afterwards what we will build and what will it approximately cost us. Then how long will it take? What are the potential customers? You may ask why I'm not doing this a little bit before we take to the solution. It's because I want to start with my idea directly to the solution and then challenge it against the potential customers again. So I think it's always good for your solution to every 2-3 weeks challenge it against new information, and see if the way or the thing you thought about are still on the way. So after we check the potential customers, we will start to think about how could be an advertising. And if we're done, you see all these preparations, we have like a little mini concept. Then we can start and evaluate it and see if it's really worth being realized, yes or no. I think in 80% all the cases you will say, I'm not really certain, I cannot decide it, but it's not a problem, because then you only need more information. And the next lower step is to ask yourself, is it worth to invest more time? And because of the slices, you don't have to look far. If you say no, stop it. But if you say yes, then think about how much will you invest and what's the next step. So if you're like here in the idea phase, then the next step would be the concept. And we say, hey, it's okay to invest 1/2 day or one additional day to think about the concept and do it. And if you do it step by step, you will see in the end you will come to really a good decision if it's really worth to start the next step, and how big should it be. I think the whole procedure should not take you more than 1 to 3 days, because it's afterwards you have to deal with the concept, and this is also needing a lot of time. So I think 1 day or a half day is really enough for this. Before we start, I want only to assure you, start writing everything down from the beginning. It will help you a lot. It's not important if it's about potential customers, the application, the benefits, the problems, or other variables. Write it down, no matter what you use. Paper, a book, Excel, PowerPoint, Trello. It's not important. Write it down, because later it will avoid you to have double work, and it will help you. Will see every time you think of something, how should I work with my app, what should I develop in my application, in my software. You can go back to that you have written down, and then you can challenge it, and it will help you much more. And especially you can use all this data to later go on and extract it for different things. So now let's start with what is the idea. You think, why do I need this? I mean, I know what my idea is, but let's be so certain that in many cases I experienced that the first idea is perhaps too narrowed down, and you have like one problem is that perhaps you think of only one solution. And you're missing like other potential solutions that also could be capable, or perhaps better, because you started with one focus idea and then went on and saw in the end, I didn't saw this, and then you have to add it, and it costs you perhaps more. And the other thing is because you're not focusing on the correct problem. Perhaps your problem is a little bit more to the right if you adjust it, or it's part of a bigger, complexer problem that you really want, underlying problem that you really want to solve. So don't forget it. So it's good to start to focus first on the idea and work a little bit with it. The first step, you have to do it. You write it down. Also, I wanted to mention, I forgot it, I have everything on an Excel. So this Excel I use also to write everything down. I will show it to you in this video, and also you can download it later from my website or other sources, so you can use it also as a template for you. So let's go on. So write it down. In my example, I started with, I will build an app to draw my mockups digitally. So I can rephrase it a little bit, because it stated more for one problem I had. I use paper and PowerPoint to draw my mockups, and I lose time, too much time with it. So that was my real problem, and I thought, okay, let's do an app that helps me to get it right. And it seems in the first step, okay, this is the idea, what do you need more? But I will show you that this is not the case, because first we have to challenge what this is. So you can see this is already a solution, and if you start with the solution and see, if write it down and see, aha, this is not a question, it's not a problem, be aware that you know what really this solution is solving, because perhaps you're not focused enough on one, or you're too narrowed down. So in this case, I can already ask why it has to be an app, why it has to be only to be drawn. So is this really all? So you can see how I already narrowed my whole potential solution down to only this. And if I would go on with this app, perhaps I will face problems that if I thought it through correctly, I could have avoided. On the other hand, if you start with the problem, it's really good because you have a problem, but then you also have to ask yourself first, is this the real problem, or are there underlying problem? And the other thing is, you always have to think, okay, you realize the problem, but you're a little bit far from the solution. But don't worry, because you have to do it. So in any case, what you have started, think of, you need always a pair. So you need some interaction between a problem or some problems and a solution, and only this together works. And this is a strong story that you can tell, because later you can sell it. This is the best thing you can sell. If somebody asks you, why should I use your application, your software, you always know that are my 5 key problems and are solving that, and you only have to talk and convince the people that they have these problems. It's much more easier than to explain them what the app does, but explaining that what problems they are you're solving. So let's go on, and what you should begin with, even if you have your idea or this statement, start with the problem. So I used first paper and then PowerPoint to draw my mock-ups, and I lose too much time. So I thought of different problems. What's also my problem? My problem is also I have all mockups only on my laptop and cannot share it easy with the developers. Also, I still have no concept proof, a test version. I have always to do the mockups and still make a test version. I must begin every time from zero, although all projects have the same elements, and so on. These are the 3 additional top problems, and you can see that this is more the losing time is more a consequence of these problems and not so much of a problem I'm losing time itself. So you can see that my solution should address more these 3 problems instead of this. So what you have now to do is like focus those problems and re-evaluate your idea and generalize it. So let's check it. For sharing, it should be online in a browser. Also, it should be able to put a version live, and it should have also predefined elements, and new elements should be added to a library. So you can see now my new idea, new solution for all these problems to solve my basic problem to lose time is to draw mockups, element library to share it, to be on an online browser, to go live with a test if I had some mockups. So you can see how different from only this statement to a better solution that includes more of my problems as a solution. When I had thought really about my idea, I think you can see it took you only 5 to 10 minutes. What is the next step I hope to achieve is like to check what do I want to achieve, what are possible goals that I want to achieve with my idea. So there are a lot of groups of goals that you can think of. They're financial goals. I want to earn my costs. I do not want to exceed some X euro. I want to be able to live from it. I want to sell it to a bigger company. I get really rich. Or user goals like get X people to use it, help the users in any way, like perhaps losing time or be optimized, get a higher usage of some app. Altruistic goals you might have, decrease some bad behavior, make a difference in the environment, whatever. Some company goals, if you're a product manager or an employee in a company, save costs, improve the process, make a process task quicker. And also, I think one of the biggest more important things, the personal goals. Gain know-how, get a promotion, be a better person, be my own boss, create something. There are different goals. If you do this and challenge now your application, your idea against these goals, it helps you in 2 ways. First, you know what you will expect of your app, and it will lower the pressure and give you more reason to know what is if you fail or help you to deal with the disappointments or with your expectations, what you can expect from your application. And the second thing is it adjusts your effort you will put in. So for example, if I think about my solution, I can say, for me it is important not to exceed 10,000 euros. For me it's important to get 20 people to use it. For me it's important to especially improve the process, because I think when I thought it through, I don't think that it's a personal state, I don't think I will really get rich with this mock-up tool. But I can improve my process and perhaps the process of other people, and also I can gain some know-how, I can create something, be in charge of something. This is something really nice for me, and I'm looking forward to do something like this and put it out of the market. But it's not something I think really I will be rich of it. If it put it like this together, I won't be disappointed if I see after 6-7 months that only 10 people are using it, because I always expected only 20. I'm not disappointed that I will not get rich, but also I'm not putting the effort I should put in when I really think this thing has to make me rich. And you can see I adjusted the idea, I can place it, I can start with it, work it, and perhaps with luck it get me rich. But if not, this is the main goals I want to do, and this is something I want to take all the way down, challenge my application if it helps me to achieve all those goals. So this is the next step. So like I said, it's a little break time, so check it. Is it exciting for you? And with this, is it worth going on? So if you see after 5 to 10 minutes thinking about your idea and thinking, okay, the next step, I'd rather go and watch some TV, I'm bored, cancel it. But if you see, I'm still excited, I want to go on, check if there's something on the market and how to go on, then go on. Because the main rule for all your ventures, and it's not important if you're making a startup or are an employee in a company, want to make a new business or a new app, you have to be excited all the time, or mostly all the time. If not, if you're not the one who believes in your idea and try to carry it on, then I can say you have the first obstacle. You will hesitate and then perhaps stop it and not go on, and all the time before will be wasted money. And you really have to be patient and excited about your idea and your software, because if you're not, you cannot sell it to other ones, and then it will also be difficult to you to succeed with it. So if you decided you're excited and you want to go on, this is the right step to go and check if there's something like this already available in the market. So you have 3 possible ways to check it. The first one, instantly you can use Google and YouTube to search it, or some other search engine. What you can do, you can take a list, write the problems down, your description of the solution, and use analogies and synonyms to search for it, to search it, add some new terms, and then check what other users are using it. I can show it in here. I wrote down my ideas, I wrote down my goals, and now here I'm in the tab for search. And what I did, I wrote all this down here: mockups, make mockups, mockup tool, free make mockup tool, tools for app building, share mockups, and some questions. And I began to search for it. And after some search, I also learned this is also called wireframes prototyping, and I used also this terms to search it, and I found a really long list with other solutions that are already on the market and use it. I only stated this one as an example. So now I can take all these examples, put it in a solution comparison here, and begin to compare it. Impressions, features, and what I'm missing. So this is the next step I will do. But let's go on now with the presentation. So what we've done instantly is this search, but you can also use some additional time, ask your friends and colleagues what to do. And also, if you're starting this, you will see how you're focused on this idea in all terms. Hold your eyes and ears open, and you will get a lot of information by coincidence, hearing about somebody talking in the news or in a lecture or something like this, or people talking about it, and then you will gain a lot of more information about all this business. So what we'll do now, if we search the market and see that there is something or something not. So what is happening if no solution is available on marketing? Many people are then relieved and say, hey, cool, I can do it because there's nobody else. Yes, it's a good relief because you're the first one. You can set up the solution. You are free to design it. You're 100% free. You can give it your name. You can really be the first to step on it. But the most difficult challenge is the users are not aware of a problem or a solution that they need. And this is a really tough thing, because you don't have only to advertise your own solution, but also convince the people that the problem they have, it must be solved. So I worked a long time for video on demand companies 6-7 years ago, when in Germany this was not what was still in the beginning. And really what I learned is that people, if they use like buying CDs, they do not think about using your new feature. And they always said about video on demand, why should I use it? I have CDs. And only now, 6 years later, the people are getting in the mind, aha, CDs are so out, nobody does it anymore. Let's start with video on demand. And the main topic for you will be to survive a long time, to get to this point where your idea is really ready for the market. It's not enough to have the right product in the right place. You have to be also in the right time. And I think often it happens. The best example is Watch Ever. When you saw them, they were like beginning with a real big advertising campaign before 6 years, blow a lot of money in Germany, and then in the end, after 3 years go, they were broke. So if they focused on surviving like till the trend comes, it would be a better solution for them. So, and you don't want to have the same experience, to work 5 years on your idea, on your product, and then you broke, and then you see it 3-4 years later somebody else does it because they survived only. I think this is the main strategy if you experience something like that. If you see there are other competitors in this market already. Still be positive, because you know, there is an idea, it's not such a bad idea, other people are already trying to use it, so I can do it, and perhaps even check the difference and make a better product and improved product. To be a fast follower is never a bad idea. So perhaps you can change the games, and still you have the challenge other things. I mean, there is competition, they are able to perhaps copy you quickly, you have to differentiate, and still you have to provide the same quality at the beginning like the others, because you have competitors, and perhaps you have to deal with some other restrictions or some monopoly, or somebody who's the biggest and dictates a little bit how the market works. So these are your challenges, but still you can master it. I mean, the best example is Apple. When they brought out the iPhone, they brought out the iPhone, something was similar on the market, but still they changed everything so much that they reinvented the whole business. So let's go to my example. As I stated, there are a lot of providers, companies that also have digital wireframe tools, and I also always check them like 10-15 minutes. And what I experienced is, what I did not like is, although all stated are free, a lot of them are not free, but you can only get the basic version, you can only get 30 minutes, 30 days. In many cases you cannot draw, in many cases you must register even if they're free. All data must be saved on their cloud, the linking is not always 100%. A lot of my elements are not in there that I would like to use, it's not connected to a publisher, and I cannot use it directly for my developers. So you think a lot of things that I don't like. Only a little remark: if you're from one of the companies and say, hey, this is not correct, my company can do this, don't hesitate, write it down in the comments, no problem. I only made a quick research on those things, and these are the things that appeared for me in the first beginning. I did not search so much deep, but these are the things that I think nobody captured for 100%, and perhaps I want to make it different. So when I go now back and again try to check it against my feelings, so after the goals I was okay, perhaps it's not a bad idea, but now as I see that provided solution is not fitting me 100%, I can see there's perhaps still a good place for a new solution like mine. So the things I have to do is to recheck it. But before we start to go on my solution, I want to say something. What is the difference if you're like a company, you're a product manager, or you're an employee in a company, want to start a new application? So your questions are a little bit different. I mean, you're not questioning, is there something on the market? Am I the first idea? Probably first question is my idea part of my main business? If yes, and you can see nobody's there, nobody is has the solution, then you have to think about how to solve it. Can I buy? Can I build it? Have I the resources for it? And will it be a game changer? And this is a really interesting step for you. If you see, yeah, other people are already using it, then also you have to question yourself: is it part of my core project, of my core business, and are competitors already using it? If competitors are already using it in something important, I mean, there's some pressure, you have to do it anyway. But if it's like no competitor using it, it's always on the market, you can think about it: is it something that can distinguish it from competitors? These are more the question you can do. And if it's not part of your core business, then you only have to ask yourself: should I buy it or should I build it? Because if it's something core of your core business, you should never buy it from an external. You should use it and make it directly, because it's important to your business, and not only some nice add-on. So, but if it's like not, for example, you're an e-commerce shop builder and you want some resource management tool, it's not part of your really core main business. So the question is, should you really work on and develop our own resource planning tool? And the question is, how much customizing do I need when I buy something? If your processes are really so much different that you say I have to customize a lot, then perhaps it's better to build it. If you say no, it fits 70% of my need, then use it, and use perhaps a standard thing and buy it. And there are different other questions like what are security issues, what is cheaper, and so on. And these are more the questions you have from an employee company view than from an entrepreneur startup view. Also a little bit different it is if you have a product and you want only to think about a new feature, then the most valued things, it's no matter if there is something on the market or not. The question is it really worth for my users? I mean, to see that some competitor has a feature that you don't have does not necessarily mean you have to build it. Perhaps it's something not important and you want to screw up your whole application only to build more and more features that nobody is using. So think about it, it's really important for them, and if yes, then you check, is it something on a solution? Have I to build it from the scratch and think about it really good, or something that's already somewhere in the market and I can search for it? For example, it can be you're an e-commerce shop builder and you think about the chat functionality. Is there some chats out there? If yes, how can I copy them? Are they crucial for me? And that's the thing you should think about it. So when we made all our preparation, thinking about our goals on the markets and so on, I would like to start what is my solution. And like I said, take the problems, take the competitive differences, what you saw, what you don't like, what you like, and then think about the solution. What I do is put like a simple table like this. Write down the competitors' features, and you see these are the features in my example, what they use. What is a little bit more like what it's mine, it's like drawing. This was my first solution thought, and you saw there's not much differentiation, but now I added the new things I thought about it. Save on a desktop, no registration, keep it as long as you want, and you can see here that if I make such a new mockup tool that includes some of this and some of this, I can perhaps build something that is new, unique, and perhaps better fitting to most of the people than the other products already in the market. So what I now want to decide is what will I build and perhaps how much effort will it build. So you will always come to the point where you have a long list of features that you will really like to do. So it's a really long list of features. So what you should think is really everything that's necessary, and you should divide it in an MVP or prototype and something you will do later, because you want to go as quick to the market and start to share it and start to build. And if it's really a long list of features, 20, 30, you're perhaps working 2 years on something to develop that in the end you could deliver earlier to the market with the core functionalities and start it. So think about what are the really core features that make your application unique and will help you, and start with them, and everything else you can do later when it's really a success and say, okay, this really be used, it's a success, I can go on. And if not, you don't waste so much time to see and have some costs like if you do everything at the beginning and then see I don't even use it. So in my case, I said these are the most important things for me: to draw, to save on a desktop, to upload from a desktop, to have no registration, to have some advertising because it's free, to share it, to have an online browser, some element libraries. So these are the most things I have to do, and everything later, make a live version, connect to analytics, register and save on a cloud preview, something I don't need in the beginning. So this is the thing, and you can see I think this is the most thing that will really cost you time, and this is some basic stuff that every developer should do quickly. So I estimate for my developers they need 2 months, 12,000 euros. I think one developer, so we're talking about 6,000 euro for one developer. This is only our price from Dimension. I think other companies might be a lot more expensive, but for us I can say this, and the rest will be a lot of more effort. So I will do this only. This, in like I said in my goals, I don't want to exceed 10,000 euros, 10,000, 12,000. I think it's in the range, and this I will do later or not at all if it's not important. Even if you do not have the possibility to make an estimate now, it's not a problem that you divide it and said these are my core functionalities, and say I focus rather to make the first 40-50% good, will decrease your costs and give you more potential for later to improve it and to be successful. Then investing 100%, starting with something, and you realize afterwards, oh, of this 100%, 70% I even had not needed it. So this is a really good approach. Make the list, cut it, focus on the MVP and start with that and get for this an estimation. So when I see the solution, I think I have a really good feeling. It's in my budget. I think it's my goals. I can really differentiate and make something new. It really goes on. So I want to go on. So the next step I want to ask myself is how long till I get to my goal. So for this I only take the whole concept and I think about it, the duration and the effort I need. So I think for the duration I only have to put in the stages and think about how long will they take me. I think half a day, 2 days, 1 day, 3 days, this is all in my hand, but this is something like, I think it will take me 2 months to develop it, 1 week to test it, 1 day to go live, 2 months again for some advertising. So I think till I see the first things, it tells me 6, perhaps 8 months max. So this is something I have to be prepared that it takes me 6 months to see the first results. And I think if I put it like the effort I have to put in, I think it's something about 20 days. So it comes at the end to 3 or 4 days a month, 1 day a week to invest in this idea to bring it to a market. I think that's pretty okay, and it's really nothing big. So now I want to talk about potential customers. What you have to think about the potential customers is all the customers have attributes. They have biological attributes, gender and age, social attributes, culture, job, living situation, some geological attributes, location, birthplace, and some behavior, interests, hobbies, beliefs. They have, I think there are a bunch of other categories, but I will focus on this because it states my point. You can search always for different things and do it. But what I really want to have to show you is, if you go back to the Excel and if you go to the customer attributes, how we'll start to think about the customers. The first thing you can start is think of yourself. Because you had the idea, it's not so far-fetched that perhaps other people that are in the same background like the same idea. So write down what is your characteristic about this attribute. So for example, I'm a male, 30 to 40, I live in Munich, comics, IT, heavy metal is my thing, music is my thing, Serbian as a culture, I'm a IT consultant, entrepreneur, and I'm married. So these are my background things. And if you want, ask perhaps some other people what they think about your idea, if they use it, and if you find somebody that also would use it and is a little bit different from you, then write it also, because now you can from this derive and think about your group. So do I think that male, for my mock-up tool, is the gender important? No. Do I think that the age is important? Yes, I think 20 to 30 is not a bad age. If they're younger, they will not use it. They have no use cases. If they're older, perhaps they want not to adapt to a new system. It's not something of location or birthplace. I think it's worldwide, but still I will focus on Germany, Europe or Serbia. I think the birthplace is not important. I think the interests, hobbies are very important, because people that are developing have something to do, apps or technical focus or UX. There could be a really good target group. Beliefs, culture, I think it's not important, and the job is really important. Developers, UX, web admins, product managers, and students in these fields are perhaps the most important thing. And I think if you're married or not, it's not important. So I think I've showed you how easy it is to get your target group. So this is my target group here in the end. But now I want still to take my MVP and challenge it. So I think to draw it for everybody okay. Save it on a desktop, everybody okay. Upload from desktop, everybody okay. No registration. I think this is a point. This is only interesting for people that are not in a big company, because if you're a big company or a medium company, you need something to register, to have some rules. I think this is not relevant for them. Keep it as long as you want. Sure, relevant for them. This is relevant for everybody. This is something perhaps also not interesting for big companies, because they want to host it on their own servers because of the security issues. To share it is important for everybody, and advertising is already a no-go, I think, for big companies. So when you see it and I match it, I think this is everything alright, but still I have to narrow my target group down, because I don't think I can match this for big companies or for medium companies. I think my really best target group are students, freelancers, really small companies in these fields and with these beliefs and this hobbies and interests that do not are part of a big company with budget and security issues. I think I have narrowed it down to a really good target group. So what is the difference for the customers or the potential users if you are a product manager and want a new application? So you're not asking about randomly new target groups out of your company. You first, or in a best case, you're thinking about you already knew your customers, and you already knew perhaps your company. So you're much more interested in asking who would be involved to help me to get my budget, to get my initiative to start this project, rather than to think really about an external target group. So how to again start this are for example, if you have a resource planning tool for marketing, then you ask yourself who will benefit from it, who not, who could support me and who not. If it's perhaps a new application for a new field or a core business, then it's something different. Then you have also to do the same steps, but then you're all again, you're in a company, but more in a role of an entrepreneur, but not so much of a product manager who tries to perhaps invent a new application to reduce some effort or some time that's not part of the core business. So these are the questions, and also a little bit similar for a new feature. So it's also like you ask more my user group. Is it interesting for them? Is it really good for them? Will it disturb them? And if not, is there some chance to get some new users for it? And these are the questions that are more involved for you than thinking about real new user group from the scratch. You're really more in your milieu, trying to get your users to be satisfied and think of them. And especially in both cases, you think of it, okay, I know who will benefit from it. How do I get the real persons to help me to get this project on an agenda, and to really get started and to get the budget and to get it on a release plan? So these are the main tasks. So you're thinking more about the company, about teams, divisions in the company. Think more about your user groups and how they benefit from it. So we're at least at the end of the preparation. The only last thing we have to ask is about the advertising. And if you're a startup, you have a lot of channels to advertising, like AdWords. I really recommend AdWords because it's easy. You can set up a text ad so easy. You can focus on your local group. You can focus perhaps on Serbia or only one city. You can really track down your costs. You can say, okay, I want only to invest 200 euros and this for 20 days and define every day 2 euros. So you can a little bit of traffic. So you can analyze it first. It's really good. It's easy effort. I would already start also with this. YouTube is the same, but you only have to do a YouTube video, and a YouTube video takes you a little bit more time, so it's not so easy. External blogs are really good if you are a step further, because you have first to search for them, and you have to invest some money to put some banners, some advertising on them, and this is not so easy, and it will cost you some time and money. PR is like it's something in the middle. If you want to have sure PR public relations, then you have to go out there and buy somebody, and it will cost you. If you not, you have to do a lot of effort, because you have to write something interesting, and then to go and write different to different websites and publishers to publish you, and then do back for it. So it's not so easy to do this. An own blog is really easy to do it, but it's a lot of effort, posting every time, having new content. It costs you a lot of times. It's a really good thing, and it's not sure that you will really get traffic. It's a like game. If you have some interesting posts, you have the luck, then it's that they're getting your traffic. It's really good, because it's this is organic traffic and will cost you nothing, and it will really last. Because if you stop buying AdWords traffic, the next day you will have no traffic. But you have some posts and you've done the effort, then you're sure that this traffic will at least for still be there for 1 year or 1.5 years, and you don't have to worry about it. A homepage is essential. I don't have to think about it. Banners are easy and can be really easy place, but the problem, the traffic is not so good, because I have had my tests, and as I saw from 10 clicks of a banner, perhaps only one was really good. The other things were only trash. It was like accidentally click on it, go on the site, even didn't bother to wait till this loading. So it's only if you have a lot of money budget and you want to be, really spread it, then it's really good to use it. Linked and Sing is very good for the beginning, because you can do something really easy. You can track down possible customers, search for the attributes you defined, make a list with this 100, 200 potential customers, and write them directly on LinkedIn and say, please use my new tool, because you use my new application, because it really fits and you could help you. It's a really good thing to get feedback and to see how it develops. Facebook is the same as AdWords. I think it's only, like, it's my opinion, a little bit more expensive, and you have also email marketing, but this is all something like banners. You have to have the budget to start something like that. Offline you can do a lot of things. The first thing, you can contact your personal friends and other things. You can go in every job and try to publish it there. It's also a good thing. You can do flyers, and this is something that I recommend every startup. I know it's old-fashioned, but for our region it's really cool, because a lot of people think of, oh, I have to start and advertise my thing in the whole country, in the whole world, but you're spreading and using too much. If you think about it, get started with the idea and start perhaps only in your neighborhood with flyers, with only AdWords in like a part of New York or part of Munich, and you try to settle down. You will see that you can reach the people 3-4 times, make contact and suggest them and get a first base. It's more easier than to try to get whole Germany, whole US, or the whole world. It's much more easier, and flyer are really easy. What you can do is, because it does not cost much, it only takes time of you. So make 5,000 flyers. It costs you perhaps 50 euro, and then you take those 5,000 flyers, and you go out, and then you spread it on your own. It's really good to do it, and it's really cheap. Door-to-door and call are more for really expensive things. If you have a lot of want to ask a lot of money and it's really expensive, but sure, it's really good. The paper ads are a little bit more old school, but you can also do it, especially in magazines that are specialized for some topics. Perhaps I'm not sure. Like an example could be for gun enthusiasts that want to reach some people that are more on guns and something like that. Or perhaps people about a healthy healthcare, something like that. And mail is also something good. Like I said, go to your post office, ask them how much will you cost to make a postcard campaign with 500 or 1,000 recipients, really specialized, perhaps on some B2B companies, and you will see it's much more easier and to do this than perhaps make a big online campaign that is too widespread and that you cannot arrow down. So what I will do is, because like I said, I don't think that it will make me rich, but I want only 20-30 users. So what I really will do is some easy AdWords to check the solution and check if we can make something better. I want some essential homepage, and I want to ask some people, like 100 people on the internet on Xing. I will search them that fit like in my target group, like freelancer for UX or freelancer developer and something like that, and product managers, and ask them if they want to use it. And I will ask also contacts that I know, and in all new jobs I will use it for myself and also promote it. And I think this is enough, and the other things I even do not know. Also a little bit different for if you're a product manager company. So in this case, you have to already start advertising a lot more earlier, because you have the idea, and to get to a finished product that you can advertise, you already have to have convinced other people to invest in this. So you have to start from the beginning to promote your thing with PowerPoint presentations, with talking to people, to go to the department heads and the people that have budget and convince them. But also afterwards, you're more regulated on, especially in a company, on your on the channels that are provided, intranet, email, meetings, and you have to figure out how to use them to use it, because a lot of people forget to advertise it at the end and are surprised that they have a new application for a new group and then put it out and then are surprised that nobody's used it. But first, a lot of people do not know that there is such application, and on the other hand, if they know, they do not know what it's for and how to use it. So this is a really thing you have to take. And on the other hand, also, if you have a new feature, don't forget to advertise in your group, because I had a lot of really good tests with user groups when we tried to introduce and test a new feature, and I was every time surprised that if you go only on your application and you don't tell the user something, they do not recognize that you have something new in your new feature. So you have to promote it. If the user use it with an email, with a pop-up when a user is entering saying here is a new thing, so you have to also promote it. So now you see we've done all this preparation, and it took us, like, if I wouldn't have talked so much, it would have taken maximum 1 hour to do everything. And now you can see how it's much more easier now to evaluate your idea than it was like, okay, in the beginning I have this idea, should I do it? And so it's much more easier. So when I think of now my example and have all these things I have done, so is it worth to be realized? Yes, definitely, because it's really easy and I stripped it down to what I need. Still, I need perhaps a little bit more information, and if you need more information, is it worth to invest more time? If you say no, then don't do it. If you say yes, I think I invest additional 2 days, it's not a problem, because the next step is the concept, and to invest 1 more day to think about this idea and to get me excited, I think it's not really much. And I already done a lot of preparation work, so I can use a lot in the concept, so I think it's no pain. The next step is really easy, I will start it. A lot of people still say you have to make a financial decision, but in this stage I can say it's more like getting your business understanding your business better using this than to really have some valid numbers. So what you can do is only think about what could be a maximum case and what are the attributes or the variables and what is a minimum case. So what you first have to do is take as assumption, and I will take for easiest thing, think about 6 years. The first year is only setup, you do not earn nothing, and 5 years something you start with a revenue, and you think always in average, so you don't have to think of a progression and first year I'm doing this. It's only a real first case to think about it, so you think, okay, like what I'm earning in 5 years, and the first year I'm not earning nothing, so it's easy. And we have to think about the potential customers, price, so the total revenue. We have to think about one-time investment, annual cost, the total cost, and in the end see what's margin. So also you will find it in the Excel sheet, and here I'm at the decision, and here's the maximum case. So what you have to do, you see I've already wrote it down. You have years, and now I want to see what are my potential customer base, and I thought of 6 million in my example. But how do I get to the 6 million? For this you here need a calculation tab, and it's really easy to calculate because it's more like a game. So in the maximum case, I think, what are the people worldwide who could work with this? So when I think about the people worldwide, I think it's not interesting for people in Africa or people in Indonesia or something like that. I think I will focus mainly on the mass markets, and that are China, US, Russia, Europe, and so on. I think 3 billion people live there. When I think of it, perhaps 40% are only working in all these things, so we have 1.2 billion people working, and perhaps in the whole IT sector, 5% are working. So I think worldwide are working 60 million people in the IT sector. And as for myself, I think 10% are product managers or IT or interested. So this I come to the 6 million. You see, it's not about getting the right, correct numbers. More understanding what is the thing you have to investigate later. So perhaps you can read some newsletters later and check, it's not 5% working IT sector, but it's 10%, and then you change it and you see, the potential group is much more larger or smaller than you thought of it. So this is the way how it goes. Go down, strip it down, think of the people, and then you will come to a potential market. If you have the potential market, you have to think about how much how much will your customer share be? And I think of, in average, perhaps I will reach 10% after 6 years. So 10% or after 5 years. 10%, it means I will have, after 6 years, I will have 600,000 people using my application. And I think of letting them pay, for example, €2 a month, that are 24 euros a year. So I think I will have a revenue of 14 million. Also, I will make some ads that will be at 600,000. I think something like 20 euros per millennium will have it, or like 2 cent, 0.2 cent per user. So I think in the end I can earn 2 million with this ads, and will make a yearly revenue of 16 million. So together, after 5 years, 16 millions by 5 years, it means like 84 millions for my revenue. So now I will have to check what are the one-time development costs, and I will see, like, I think that the one-time development costs perhaps are 10% of the yearly annuity. That's the least thing I can say it will cost me. So to have something that fits 600,000 users, I have to invest 1.5 million, and I have also do some advertising. And this is a little bit tricky, because how do I get my 600,000 customers, users? So I think that, and you can see it here, I think 50% I have to get by advertising. So I have to pay that I get them, and the other 300,000, 50%, I'm getting for free, because the people are hearing about it and searching for me and finding me themselves. So I have to think about it. Okay, 300,000 people, 50% of this, I'm paying 100 euros to get one customer. So in the end, it will cost me 30 million euros to get 300,000, and the other I will get for free. So, and the last thing I have to think about it, okay, still, if I have my business, I have to calculate like something 50% of all the business will be, of all the revenue will I have to take to have some maintenance. I need some offices, I need people, I need still sales people, help people, and so on. So this will be 50% of my whole revenue. So if I take these numbers, I have 1 million for the 1.5 million, 4 million for the one-time development, 30 million for the one-time acquisition, and 42 million, like 50% of 84 million, for the average running costs in this year. And this gives me total cost of 73 million. So in the end, after 6 years, I stand up with 10 million before tax, and also before any shareholders. So you can see this is something that I have to be, and perhaps with luck, if everything's go right, this is something like 2 or 3 million left for me after tax. After 6 years, I think it's good, but you can see it's not I think it's not a Bill Gates case, but it's okay. And on the other hand, what you will do for the smaller case, you only have to reduce all the things to think of the small case, because let's be realistic, I perhaps will only start in Munich, and perhaps not got farther as Munich. So Munich has round about in 10 kilometers over Munich 2 million people. I also think 50% are working, 1 million, 10% in an IT sector. You can see I adjusted it here because I think Germany is a little bit more developed than the average world. 10% IT sector, 10% product managers. So I have 10,000. My basic customer base is not 6 million but 10,000. I already get 10%, it's like 1,000. I get the same thing. I have a really smaller revenue of only 28,000 a year, but therefore my costs are a little bit lower, because I don't have to make such a big investment in the development. I can stick with my first idea of the solution, and perhaps only invest 10,000, and on the way some 50,000 for the advertising, and 70,000 as running costs for improvement and development. So in the end, 129,000. And so I think if it really all goes well, a small case, after 6 years I will make 10,000 euros with it. I think it's really okay. But you can see this is a more realistic case, and this is a case. This is important because this is, if you succeed something like this, you can go to an investor and convince him to invest to you to then spread the business to Germany or to the world. But without this, it's really really difficult to get an investor to invest without any experience and start from the beginning with this case. So this is the next case, and you can see this was nice to better understand the business, but really, if you see the numbers, is it really something you have to decide now if you will do the ideal solution because you think you will earn 10 millions or you will earn 70,000? I think not. That's not really a valid case. I think much more important is to think about the things we thought earlier. It's about these things, about all the preparation, about the things. Are you excited? If you say yes, do it. And this is only like doing an exercise, getting more input, have a first feeling, and that's it. So I only want, because before I go on, to advertise a little bit for Dimension and my company. So if you struggle somewhere and you need help, don't hesitate, contact us. We make concepts, make development, make advertising. We've done a lot of concept work for a lot of German companies. They gave us some rough ideas, we made concepts, we made mock-ups out of them. Also, we did a lot of development for prototypes and applications on different devices for really good prices. We can start you an application, a software for beginning of 7,000 or 8,000 euros, so you can really go quick to a market. And also we help you with all the advertising, making web pages, pictures, flyers, everything you need. So everything for 40 euros an hour. I think it's a really good price. So don't hesitate, contact us. We will help you where we can, and you can start your business, your idea, and we will help you the whole process through. So more information you get on dimension.de startup. You can check all it, download all the information, and see what you need. So what is the next thing we have to do? The next thing we want to do is the concept. So like we said, the idea evaluation is done. We have a good feeling about this idea. I will start with the concept, and what you think about your concept is you think now only of your application and a little bit of the environment as well, but still you have to have more insight about your customers, more competitors, especially what is my unique selling point. You will need it for the advertising. What are the processes? Because I only thought of, okay, roughly how to use it, but now I have in the concept to think more, what are the processes, like on, log in, how to save, how to use it in a more detailed way. I have to think about the strategy, how to use it, about my goals in detail more again. And this is all related really nearly to the application, but also I have to think about the finance concept now. I have to think about the administration, the risk, the stakeholders, the legal, and if I have already all done, I have to put it in one paper. It's really useful because later you can check it also to manage your goals, but you can use it if you look for an investor. You only have to take it, give it to them, and you have already done all the work, or to give it to somebody, a competitor, or somebody who wants to buy you, or somebody who wants to convince or make some advertising materials out of it. If you have all of this, it's much more easier if you've done one time the work to make the concept. So in the next video we'll learn what is a concept, why do we need a concept, what can we use from the idea evaluation, what is the element should be analyzed, what is the outcome, and that's it. So thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. You can contact us anytime for further information, or if you want to help you, and all presentation and the Excel and all material you can download at dimension.de. So feel free to visit us and do it. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope we can see you at the next video. So bye.